Yo, what is up guys, Jerome here, and today we're talking everything leveling to level as quickly as possible. If you level extremely fast, you can maximize your Gnomergon lockouts. You can get into the STV event and dominate with that level 40. And of course, you're going to be able to farm far more gold than everybody else in the game. We're going to talk about everything from the buffs, the consumables, the runes, everything you need to level as quickly as possible. And we're going to be answering the ultimate question of whether you should be open world leveling or dungeon leveling in Phase 2. This video is going to rocket up your leveling speed, so let's get right into it. Alright, so we're going to start with buffs and consumes, and then move into runes, and then finish off with the best leveling methods. The biggest buff you need, no matter what your level is Boon of the Black Fathom. The reason I love Boon is the increased hit chance of spells, which really helps when you're fighting higher level enemies. The other big reason is that flat 20% increased movement speed, which really helps when you're questing. The other buff that you definitely want is Spark of Inspiration. So Spark of Inspiration is picked up in either Orgrimmar or Ironforge. It's an insane buff, especially for casters, with increased critical strike and 42 spell damage. On top of these two world buffs, you can't forget the Darkmoon Fair buff either. 10% damage increase for 2 hours is a huge leveling speed increase. There are also a lot of new consumables you can get to speed up your leveling. For example, there's the Lesser Wizard Oil. Everybody's been forgetting about wizard oils, but 16 spell damage that persists for death is a huge boost to kill speed. We also have new potions like the Lesser Arcane Elixir. I cover all the new consumables in my Gnomergon consumable guide, so check it out in the top right. One last consume to talk about is the 8% minor move speed to boots. It's expensive right now, but I highly recommend getting this buff to your best pair of boots. On top of these buffs, there's also XP buffs you can get. The biggest priority is the Sleeping Bag quest line, but the quest took me only about 30 minutes. As your reward, you get a sleeping bag that gives you up to a 3% XP bonus. You also get 8 food items that give you 4 rested XP bars each. What I recommend is to save these foods until level 38 to maximize the rested XP gained. Speaking of rested XP though, you've got to log into your alts and start gaining that rested XP. Don't pull a Jerome and forget to do that for like 4 days. Alright, so with your buff sorted out, the next thing you need to do for maximum leveling speed is to grab all your new runes. As a priest, getting Empowered Renew was a huge bonus in dungeons, and our bear getting Berserk early really turned him into an AoE monster that topped the meters. The easiest way by far to get your new runes is the Rested XP Rune Guide, which is completely free on CurseForge. I wanted to grab the Renewed Hope rune, so I selected it from the waste category. Then the guide sent me with an arrow to exactly where I needed to go on each step. I've been using Rested XP for over 2 years now, but with the big new update for Season of Discovery, we finally got them as an official sponsor. That's amazing news because their guides are easier and faster to use than ever before. Rested XP definitely helped us to get the 8th Gnomergon clear and Horde in the entire world. Make sure to check the pinned comment. If you use the code Jerome, you can get 5% off. Alright, so we've got the runes, we've got the buffs, the consumes. We've got to decide how to maximize our leveling speed. In my experience, questing with a really good route is about the same speed as dungeons. The big issue though is PvP ganks. For our leveling, we chose dungeon leveling, and I highly recommend the spreadsheet below the video. That spreadsheet will tell you exactly how much XP you can expect from dungeon runs. After questing 1 to 27, we prioritized RFK until 29. Then at 29, we started spamming SM Graveyard. After hitting about level 31, we alternated SM Graveyard and SM Library. At around level 34 or 35, we started hitting Armory as well, and we dropped Graveyard from our rotation. Then to finish off our rotation, we alternated between Armory and Cathedral runs to hit 40. Well, this is sort of against the spirit of Season of Discovery somewhat. It is worth mentioning that level boosts with the new 50% experience bonus are a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot faster. You could actually enter RFC at level 8 or even Stockades at level 15. And of course, the sleeping bag works with your boost as well. And I don't want to spoil your Phase 2 leveling experience, but there are even Cathedral boosts that have already been invented. These are going to be an extremely strong option for alt leveling. So at this point, you should have all the tools to hit 40 extremely fast. The buffs, the runes, the leveling route. I've got to ask you, have you hit level 40 yet? And if you did hit level 40, did you primarily do it from dungeon leveling or open world leveling? Like I said, I did dungeon spam, but I do plan to quest for my next 2 characters. After all, I want to hit my raid lockouts as quickly as I can, but I don't want my brain to melt in Scarlet Monastery. And speaking of the raid, if you want to dominate Gnomergon and maximize your success on all the bosses, check out my Gnomergon tips video next.